Welcome to another gathering of the Gold Key Adventurers Society. Have a seat by the fire as we prepare to help you unlock the secrets of the travel life. From theme park thrills to Purple Mountain's majesty, we want to see it all and do it all, and we want to help you do the same. We all have those bucket list trips, once-in-a-lifetime destinations that we'll get to someday. We're here to help you make your travel dreams a reality. Buy the ticket, take the trip. Where do you want to go?
Come on, come on, come on, now tell me what's on your bucket list. Okay, hey, okay, hey. It's a beautiful day. Okay, hey, okay, hey. It's a beautiful day.
Pencils down. The end of the school year means final exams. And this week, the Gold Key Adventurers are making our oral reports on some of our favorite vacation spots in the U.S. But first, Universal Orlando City Walk is open, and the sadness of Chinese bootleg theme park rides. Pack your lunch and sharpen your pencils. It's time to hit the trail with the Gold Key Adventurers Society. Like all the best high school comedies, you just woke up from a nightmare where you were giving a presentation in front of the class, and you realized that you had inexplicably forgotten to put on your pants this morning. They can only get better from here, right? Naturally, you look at the clock and see you're late, as usual. What follows is the typical morning routine of a Hollywood teenager. Throw on the first clothes you find, then a mad dash to the kitchen, where you grab the toast mid-air as it pops out of the toaster, then rush out the door and barely make it on the bus before it pulls away. Just another day in life of a typical American television high schooler. Bell's about to ring, but before class starts, I have one question. It's only a matter of time. At some point, high school shenanigans are going to go wrong. You're going to accidentally get locked in the janitor's closet with some annoying nerd. Would you rather be stuck in a small space for an extended period of time with Screech or Urkel?
Did I do that?
That's a hard question since I was the nerd.
I'm currently stuck in the house with Screech. So
Yeah, I think I would choose
I'm gonna
Screech.
go
Urkel's
Urkel.
so annoying.
They're both annoying.
Are we talking Screech now or Screech back then? Because Screech now is really deplorable.
Yeah, he is.
He's pretty gross. I'd go for what was it? The Stephen Urkel. Whenever he went into that machine and became cool.
He was Stefan
Urkel.
Urkel, yeah. He was Mr. Suave.
Suavemente.
And he was all,
scraping the
did
bottom
I do that?
That's when you start making too much money on the show and you get a little bit of control over your character.
Yep. And each episode finds a new way to jump a shark.
They let him voice Sonic the Hedgehog, and he got a big head.
What?
Oh, yeah. In the cartoon series.
He was Sonic? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. The things you learn.
The more you know. Dun, dun, dun.
It's really weird, though, when you think about the fact that there was a period of time in the early 90s when Steve Urkel was like one of our hugest celebrities in America.
Yeah.
That dude was everywhere. He had
And
his
now-
own breakfast cereal.
What? Urkelos.
Oh yeah. I mean, after the Where's the Beef lady gained worldwide prominence, I mean, it's anybody can be famous at that point. So
Hey, don't go knocking my granny. That lady is now the governor of Alabama.
Mammal.
Yeah.
I think it's time we get things started. Our show this week is brought to you by Key to the World Travel. Key to the World Travel is a full-service travel agency specializing in theme parks, cruising, and destinations around the world. Head to www.keytotheworldtravel.com for more details and a no-obligation quote on the vacation of a lifetime. Jess, what's up?
all right. Well, this week in theme park history, it was actually a pretty big week. So I'm just gonna cherry pick a few notable moments. First up, on May 20th in 1973, Tom Sawyer Island opened at Magic Kingdom. And I have a vague memory of being there when I was a child, and I have not set foot on it since the 80s.
Oh, really? Wow.
Really? You know, I never went on it till, what was that, like 2 years ago, Heather? We went out there with Emily.
Yep.
I think that's, and I haven't been there since then.
It's a great place to sit and watch the parade, the Festival of Fantasy Parade, because the floats are so high, you can sit on that little porch in the rocking chairs and have a nice view.
I bet so. That's a good idea.
Let's see. On May 21st in 2004, Revenge of the Mummy opened at Universal Studios Florida.
I love that one.
And it's still
Fun ride.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense one.
You think he ever got his coffee?
On May 22nd, 1998, Disneyland unveiled the new Tomorrowland. So that was a complete overhaul of the land, which included new additions of rocket rods, Red Rocket's pizza ports, NASA Space Experience, and the Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Rocket rods?
Rocket rods.
Was that that was the short-lived thing that replaced? That was the thing that replaced the People Mover.
Right. It was basically a fast version of People Mover where everybody faced forward. And
it would shoot just down the one still viable track piece they had.
It went too fast, and the tracks aren't banked. So it wasn't very safe. I think the vibrations were shaky.
It was like grand opening, grand closing.
I think that was the last thing that functioned.
Fun. Let's bring that back.
Yeah. Now they can't tear any of that out because it holds up other parts of buildings and stuff.
Yeah. And let's see, finally on May 23rd in 2015, the Raptor encounter began at Universal's Islands of Adventure. Which, it's still a very big draw. They've updated it recently to include Blue, the Raptor from Jurassic World.
2015? I can't believe that's been there that long.
I wasn't even aware of it until maybe a year ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, we went and did it when we were there last year, but I had never done it before. It's very cool.
It's all over the Universal marketing. That's like one of their big things to show off is people getting freaked out by
your mom with a
raptor. I love the one where the moms just freak out and fall over. Surprised they don't make you do a waiver yet for that, because there's plenty. I've seen so many people bust it trying to get away from that thing.
I'm sure they grease the ground just for fun.
Yeah.
Entertain the staff.
Yeah. That's it for this week in theme park history.
Thank you, Jess.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I've got a hotel for you guys.
Please, I'd like to get out of the house.
Yeah, let's go right now. Where
is it? A Hojo? I don't
even care.
No, this is another entry in the weird themed hotels, but again, this is a up class.
Oh,
kind of classy joint.
Perfect. Sign me up.
Yeah, it's less crappy and more. What was that place we talked about? The minivan, Winvian, whatever it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that looked like it looked like the word minivan, but I think it was Winvin. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was. So this is the Roxbury at Stratton Falls, which is in New York's Catskill Mountains. And they recently added on a selection of themed cottages, including there's a cottage called the Crown of the Pendragon, which has a circular bathtub set amid stone walls under a 20-foot high ceiling and a giant chandelier. It's kind of
Arthurian themed.
Yeah, almost Games of Thrones.
That's what I was going to say. It looks like very Targaryen.
Yeah, I see this bathtub looks like it's got a couple of golden wolf heads for the knobs on it. You could also stay in Dracula's Fangs, which is decorated with blood red touches, lush velvet, and a winding staircase which leads up to a vampire throne chamber.
Oh, what happens in the throne chamber?
You get to make love to your sister.
Okay. We're back on Game of Thrones again.
I'd rather stay in the Frankenstein's crotch room, but
that one's a little musty.
Ew.
It's in the basement.
You can also stay in. See, it's weird how they name all these things. This like Dracula's Fangs, Cinderella's Gown is the name of that.
Yes, sign me up for that one.
It does not sound family friendly, but
do the curtains match the carpet?
Well, it's got a canopy bed and a gigantic. The bathroom is inside a pumpkin carriage.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Open in a pumpkin,
as they typically be. See, there's that.
Nice. I like
that's
it.
That's the bathroom, just chilling in the middle of the room.
That's weird.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, there's like a couch and a bed right outside.
They've got a couple that are a little less out there. Just kind of like fancy. Oh, well, this one's got it's like all light blue, and then the headboard of the bed is a sorry, the decapitated head of a Greek statue, it looks like.
Oh, that's delightful.
Nothing says sweet dreams
for
like-
kids.
Yeah.
That's the junior suite. Yeah,
Comes
that
to
is
life and
weird.
reads them a
That's
story.
terrifying. No thanks.
Yeah.
It'd be fun if it spit on you as an alarm clock.
Let's see.
I like the one below it with the like mirrory, balls. Shiny wallpaper stuff.
Yeah.
It's very stylish. Everything is super stylized.
I would like to spend a night at the Roxbury. What is love?
Who doesn't? So the property includes the mansion with 7 themed guest rooms. Each has an ensuite bathroom and mountain views. There's fireplaces, balconies, and outdoor showers. They also have available
Outdoor showers in the Catskills?
Apparently, yeah.
Okay.
Spa, pool, hot tub, recreation room, and a gaming area. Outside, there's mountain biking, hiking, fishing, golf, or a gigantic waterfall nearby.
All right.
Also near the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown.
Well, it's
So
not
it's
in my
exciting.
house,
Play
so
ball.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm getting the pumpkin carriage.
So you're going to stay in the bathroom the whole time. I'm not surprised by that.
Depends on what you had for dinner. Jess, why don't you tell us about what's been happening over at Universal?
Yeah, so Universal Orlando Resort began a partial reopening of City Walk. Several restaurants and quick service dining locations reopened to the public on May 14th, as well as a couple of retail locations. So included in that was Red Oven Pizza, Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, Senor James Buffets, Margarita
Yay, Senor Jimmy.
Yes.
Senor James Buffet.
Town, Voodoo Donuts, thank God,
Donuts.
and Auntie Anne's Pretzels, as well as the Universal Studios store and the. Sorry. I do that every time. I can't say its name.
It's so regal.
It's like my own personal joke that nobody cares for, especially my family. Yep. So as well as the Hart and Huntington Tattoo Company's retail shop.
Oh,
and a
sweet.
few
Oh, just the
merchandise
retail
items.
shop? We can't get a tattoo right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
tells
go
me
buy
that.
T-shirts of crappy tattoos, but
Aw,
not
damn.
yet get a crappy tattoo.
Yeah, it's a little off of the social distancing. So
Can you get the COVID from a tattoo? Is that the
I'm sure
problem?
you can.
if you try hard enough, I'm sure. And also Hollywood Drive-In Mini Golf reopened. for
Oh,
games
fun.
as well. So all guests visiting City Walk are going to be required to wear face coverings, as well as the team members that are working. And they're limiting the capacity, obviously, and doing temperature screening for guests and team members before they're allowed to enter.
Mm-hmm. Saw
We've
that.
got some photos of that over on themeparkprofessor.com.
Nothing over 100.4.
Yeah, it looked pretty okay and manageable. The pictures and videos that I saw
yeah.
on the theme park professor.
Yeah, reports seem to say, I mean, obviously it was pretty low attendance. They didn't have to turn anybody away, it doesn't look like. But yeah, it seemed like everybody was just happy to be out and about. And the team members were very happy to see people again themselves. So
I feel them.
yeah,
And
let's
be
hope that things
working.
just keep progressing forward.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's go
Guys,
there.
I've got a surprise for you. For next, we didn't have any tips. We didn't have any tips for just the tips with Key to the World Travel this week, so I booked a stand-up comedian to come on the show.
Oh,
All
perfect.
right.
Nice.
So, I'd like to welcome my son Wyatt to the show. He's nearly 8 years old. And
Hey,
he's got
Wyatt.
8 years old already?
I know. Can
Wow.
you believe that?
I know. And he's going to jump on the microphone, and he's got some vacation-themed jokes to share
Oh,
with us.
awesome. I can't wait.
Cute. I'll get my Wyatt out here later. He can do his tight 5.
Yeah, tell him to open up his notes on his phone. I know he's got some good jokes in there.
That's right.
Hey,
Hi.
hey, Wyatt, how's it
Hey,
going?
Hey, buddy.
Good.
I hear you have some jokes for us.
Yep.
All right, let's hear it.
Where did the shark go on vacation?
Where?
Finland.
That's pretty good.
That's cute.
You're funnier than your dad.
The next one is, where did the bacteria go on vacation?
Where?
Germany.
Oh, I get it. That's a good one.
Where did lumps of sugar go on vacation?
Lumps of sugar.
Sugar lumps.
Sweeten.
Mm.
Good one.
Why did the boxer have a terrible vacation?
Why?
All he packed was a punch. What's the hardest part of skydiving?
The part where you hit the ground?
Yep, it's the ground. Where did the knot go on vacation?
The knot?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Thailand.
Thailand.
Wow. Who knew there were so many of these?
so many.
International.
Last one is, where did the worm go on vacation?
Ooh, where?
The Big Apple.
Perfect.
Oh, that's a good one.
Good job, bud.
Those were
Good,
great.
Wyatt.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Thanks.
You're pretty funny. Are you enjoying your vacation at home all the
Yeah.
time? Yeah, it's pretty good. Trapped in the house with your brother and two
Many
sisters.
siblings.
Yeah. Well, have a good week.
Okay,
Bye, Wyatt. Thank you.
bye.
Well, he's adorable.
He is so cute and so smart too.
Yeah, it's hard to believe he's
that's
almost
my-
half me.
That's my nephew, ladies and gentlemen.
Dan's replacement.
Yes.
Totally. Those were good. Did he find those all on his own, Dan?
Yeah, he's been reading joke books.
Good job.
Oh, nice. I love it.
Yeah. Next up, I've got some survival tips for you guys. Are you ready for this
Oh,
one?
perfect. Yes.
I like to survive, yes.
Well, we're going to step away from the animals this week. Yes.
Are you being attacked by a bear?
No, a 5-year-old.
Dan's punching a
Just
black
as
bear in the
dangerous.
face. Hold on.
All right. Courtesy of the Art of Manliness, theartofmanliness.com. This week, we are going to learn 3 different ways to escape from zip tie restraints.
Yes, I know this one.
Just in case you've been kidnapped and being held, they tied your wrists together with zip ties. There's 3 different ways you can get out.
Or if your kink partner dies midstream.
Yes.
Right. Or
It's good. It's good to have a way to get out.
you forget your safe word. Or don't make them too obscure. That's survival tip number 1. So the first method is to just slip on out. When your captor is attaching the zip tie, present your hands with your fists clenched and your palms facing down. Doing this makes your wrists bigger and creates room to slip right out. After the tie is tightened, unclench your hands and turn your wrists so they're facing inward, and then you can just work your way right out. It might be tight, but the key is to just get your thumb out first. This method can be used from a variety of hand positions and should be tried first. The second method is to try to break the zip ties.
This is the one I learned in self-defense class in college.
Step 1, tighten the zip tie as much as you can with your teeth. And
Yep.
try to make the locking. Try to make sure the locking mechanism is between your hands. The tighter the zip tie, the easier it is to break.
Yep.
Step 2, lift your hands above your head and bring them down quickly into your stomach. Your elbows should flare out like chicken wings, and you should simulate trying to touch your shoulder blades together. With that, the zip tie should break at their weakest point, which is the locking mechanism.
They taught us to bring our hands down over your knee and kind of the chicken wing thing, but also like shoving your hands down on your knee to bust it.
Yeah, a little extra.
It works.
leverage
It really
there.
works.
And then
Jess,
method
are you
number
going to demonstrate?
I can't get them on. I realized you got to have somebody else to put them on
Yes.
you, I guess. I
You
have
can't kidnap yourself.
Apparently not.
Method number 3 is shimming out. Step 1, you can defeat the mechanism of the zip tie with some sort of shim. If you look closely at a zip tie, you'll see that it has a small locking bar that does all the work. If that bar is lifted out of the grooves on the zip tie, it can be easily removed. You can use a variety of objects to lift that locking bar, a fingernail, a pin, or even the corner of a credit card. Once the bar is lifted, simply pull the tie out of the locking mechanism. This method is easier with multiple people held captive to help each other, but you can do it on your own as well.
If you want to see number 2 demonstrated, watch the watch the new movie Extraction, and you can see Thor get himself out of some zip ties. It's pretty good.
That's a great movie.
Yes,
Somebody tells me he has a bit of an advantage already.
Yes, he does the tighten it with your teeth and then slam them down move.
Yeah, he's also very strong.
He is. He's very strong.
He's macho.
He gets out of them pretty quickly and then kills everyone in the room.
And
so many people.
Let's be honest about the first method. That would only work if the person putting the zip ties on you had never heard this.
Yes, and was stupid.
Well.
Yeah, right. I see what you're doing.
Like, turn your hand over. No, I want to do it.
No,
like
I'm
this.
good. I would present these to you.
No, whatever. It's cool by me.
They've never heard of Harry Houdini before.
Right.
Yeah.
Harold Tiberius Houdini.
Yeah, that's him. Heather, you had some survey results you wanted to tell us about.
Yes, Travel and Leisure magazine this week posted an article that is based on an Expedia survey that was done. Actually, not a survey; it was just the results of Expedia watching where people are searching for airfare, where people are investigating that they want to go right now, and not a huge surprise. 8 out of the top 10 most searched for destinations in the last 2 weeks. For flights going from July through December, they were all located in the United States. And fun fact, most Americans on the site were looking for flights to Orlando.
Orlando.
Yes.
Is there anything to do in Orlando?
Not yet, but soon we hope. You can go to Disney Springs starting on May 20th. It looks like most people were searching for flights starting in July all the way through December. The second most searched for location was Las Vegas, Nevada. People were also looking for Honolulu and then, and then Mexico. Lots of people searching for flights to Mexico. So things are starting to look up. And everyone really, really wants to get out of their house.
Yeah.
A lot of people looking for domestic national parks out west based trips for summer vacation this year. Not a surprise, I guess.
No,
I know I am.
I'm so glad to see that people are looking for where they can go and looking at flights.
Yes, and lots of people want to head back down to Orlando.
Prices are pretty good right now, too.
Yeah, they really are. Flight prices are great right now.
So good, I might even fly American again.
Oh.
No, don't do it.
I have a credit that expires from
American.
And it expires next week.
The flows of airlines.
From the Adventures by Disney, that was a year ago this week, right?
A year ago, yeah, like right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I want to leave so badly that I was like, that credit would just cover a flight for me. That would just be so nice. But...
And it would be an adventure. Even if you got stranded somewhere, it's better than being stuck in your house.
Well, the good thing about traveling now with American is that they're not going to oversell the plane and leave you in California.
That's true. Let's just hope the planes work.
Well, that was the thing, is they grounded all that. What was the plane they grounded?
It was, I can't remember the name.
Max, the 737.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, nobody needs those in their fleet right now because they're flying fewer and fewer planes. So they have enough capacity with their non-737 Maxes.
It's true.
And yet, which airline is it that decided they're going to charge you to leave the center seat open?
Oh, that was Frontier, and they went back on that policy because they caught so much crap for it. Yeah.
Frontier. They don't even have seats that are affixed to the floor. It's a beanbag chair.
They're overturned construction buckets. You know?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that policy did not last long because it was very unpopular.
If you would like to not catch COVID, that's an additional $50.
Mm-hmm. You do have to be aware that for the foreseeable future, probably at least I'm thinking into the fall, you're going to have to wear a mask when you're on the plane. But that seems like a very small price to pay. I will gladly put on a mask and get on an airplane like right now. Where can I go right now?
I was thinking that's great for early morning flights when I don't really feel like brushing my teeth.
Exactly.
Wear a mask.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, people can't see your expression behind there. You can be mouthing the F
Yeah, you
word
can
at
mouth
people.
all of the words.
So, the thing with the masks, I've gotten really good at smizing. Using your eyes to smile.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Now you
Real
can
good
go
at that.
on America's Next Top Model, Jeff.
That's right.
I've already been asked, and I
Oh,
declined.
perfect.
Yeah,
Aw,
yeah.
I
He's
would've
very
watched
humble.
I would have watched that season.
You alone.
Smizing.
Well, plus good news, it's only a matter of time before we see all kinds of memes with Samuel Jackson complaining about masks on a plane.
I am sick and tired of these mother scratching masks.
On this mother scratching plane. Oh, Dan.
Or what he would say is,
I can't wait for
Oh, I hope so. Let's see. I think Jess is planning on taking us to hell this week, right?
Oh,
Oh, yes.
that's just by appearing on the podcast.
That's what I do. So yeah, today I'm going to take you guys on a trip to the weird and wild world of bootleg. It's a Small World.
I wish the listeners could see the picture that you just put up behind your head.
I should kind of apologize to listeners.
It's a small one, indeed.
it
Yeah,
really
you
is.
aren't going to get the visuals of this, but if you
It's
search
so
for these,
small, I can't see it.
if you search for these attractions, you'll find out what the spectacle going on our screens is. So big surprise. Does anybody want to guess where these?
I'm going to go Asia.
Asia?
Can you narrow it down anymore?
Japan?
Who's known for bootlegs? Like,
Oh, China.
these are both in China. And so the first one is at the Suzhou, and I'm not going to even try to pronounce that correctly, Suzhou Amusement Land, and it's called Small World. Not even
I
trying.
wonder where they
Wow.
got that.
That's original.
And it features things like what you're seeing here, which is these rides all kind of look like It's a Small World post a fire, or some sort of like post-apocalyptic version of them. They've got the sort of Mary Blair style of art, but it's all really dirty. And hasn't been clean. And then they've got random things placed in there that you wouldn't find at the real It's a Small World. So as right now,
Like
you'll see
the
on your screen
statue of the
The
boy
one
playing
behind-
with his
yeah.
penis.
a little
It's
boy
that-
peeing. It's one of those old brass statues, I guess, that pees
That
into
same
a
lame
fountain.
statue you put in your fountain at your estate of a boy peeing. That's one of their...
They've also got, of course, they've got knockoffs of characters you know and love. Like right here, you'll probably see there's Chip and Mrs. Potts from.
Oh, yeah. look at
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Everything is horribly dark in these rides, so there's no really good photos of these things. There's
That Chip
when
is little and ugly, like another Chip I know.
Ah, yes.
Now that Chip looks a lot better than the Chip we know. There's also things like Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, and of course the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Of course.
Of course, the ninja.
as you would
In the
So what
expect.
happened to
world.
them?
Um,
What happened?
Is
to
this
them?
also a boat ride?
They're the worst looking
these are
teenage-
also boat rides. Yes, they're boat rides. There's
Wow.
from the videos that are out there, there's some music, but mostly not music. Mostly you're listening to the sound of the boat on the track, like
Ooh.
creak and smack.
None
into
of
the
these
sides
things
of
look like they're animatronic either. They just look like statues.
Oh, creepy dolls. Creepy dolls.
Yeah, so everything really does look like an old Victorian haunted doll that you'd see in a movie by Blumhouse. Like it's,
Yeah.
Yep.
it's all very painful. A lot of these, some of their heads are missing and then have been replaced with animal heads, which is just,
Oh,
nightmare.
God, what is
Is
happening?
that Chucky?
I just keep changing these to get y'all's reactions.
Hey, trigger warning.
That doll is definitely
We've got to
murdered
put these
people.
on this page. This
Yeah,
is
we'll share them
wonderful.
through our Facebook page so that everybody can see.
This looks like the
forward.
girl from The Grudge climbing out of your TV
Oh,
or the
yeah,
ring.
it
The
does.
ring.
Yeah. Moving on over, there's the second one that I found called Joyland at Action Park.
Ooh, Action Park. Yes.
Yeah, it's even creepier where it starts out with a giant man being tied down by children,
Oh,
Oh.
no.
which it could be a Gulliver's Travels
Yeah, I
type of
was
thing,
gonna
but
say,
it's
is that what that is?
/ lawnmower man.
not well done.
Gulliver's
And then-
Nightmare.
For some reason, there's these sort of strange grass snake eel things that I found that look like, something out of like Sid and Marty Krofft rejects.
Not
Very
how I was going to
much.
describe them.
Yeah. And for some reason, this ride also has a lot of giant severed hands just randomly like strewn
great.
throughout.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, if you want to check these out, you can search for Joyland at Action Park and Small World at Sozu Amusement Land.
Head out to China.
Let's
Come
go.
on, guys.
I
got
would
some
recommend
Googling
doing
to
this
do.
early in the day, because if you do this before bed, you're
Nightmare.
After a day in the parks, you can hit up the wet market and just make a day of it.
exactly.
I think that bad Disneyland ripoff park that we talked about a while back also had a Small World.
It does. It's. I looked that one up. It's not nearly as creepy as these. It
That's a
almost
shame.
looked nice and quaint.
Yeah, this one was like, it's
So
a small
I had to-
and terrifying world.
Yeah, I had to take the cute one out.
Oh,
Got to keep it real.
we don't want to look at anything nice. on
No,
Sunday.
that's not what I'm here for.
And we appreciate you. Well, I hope you stick around, because after the commercial break, we're starting our final exams with our first round of oral presentations
My favorite kind.
on fascinating destinations around America. When it comes to planning your next adventure, knowledge and preparation are always key. That's why a call to your Key to the World Travel Vacation Planner should always be at the top of your to-do list when you feel the urge to venture forth and explore the world. Key to the World Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, specializing in travel to Disney theme parks around the world, as well as Disney Cruise Line, Aulani, and Adventures by Disney. With over 450 travel advisors who share a deep love for Disney destinations, Key to the World Travel has a wealth of knowledge and passion to help you experience all the magic with none of the work. Wherever your wanderlust is driving you, Key to the World Travel is a full-service travel agency with the expertise to get you where you want to go. So whether you're headed to Universal Studios, Hawaii, Europe, or somewhere a little farther off the beaten track, your first step should always be to visit www.keytotheworldtravel.com for a no-obligation quote. Their expert travel planners are standing by to help you with every detail of your perfect vacation. That's www.keytotheworldtravel.com or at Key to the World Travel on Facebook. Key to the World Travel, your key to a magical vacation. Alrighty, guys, today is the big day. It's oral presentation day in American Vacation Destinations class. Tough crowd to say the least. Some poor schlub just stumbled his way through a report on the Wisconsin Dells, and the teacher responded by saying, "Mr. Madison, what you have just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul." Good news is it can't possibly get any worse than Bill with his Dells disaster. The bad news is we're the last ones left to present. I better get this over with. And apparently I've been volunteered to go first here.
Yes,
It's your idea.
you're up, Dan.
All right. I decided I wanted to talk about a place that I know really well because I kind of grew up more or less right in the middle of it. It's the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, which is in Northeast Ohio.
Ohio.
It's kind of right.
I like it. That's their official tourism theme song,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Hey guys, what's round on the outside and high in the middle?
Oh.
Oh,
Ohio. Wow. Your
should
son
have
is a
light.
better comedian than you are, Dan.
Oh.
Yes.
I never claimed to be a stand. This park is located. It's kind of right in between Akron, Ohio, and Cleveland, which is convenient for some other attractions that I'll fill you in on later. But it is. Let me find here my notes. I'm sorry.
You just went down a grade.
I know. I saw.
Did you prepare a PowerPoint?
No, I wish.
There goes our sponsorship.
Well,
This episode brought to you by
Microsoft PowerPoint.
This episode brought to you by Google Docs.
Yeah, there it is.
enter code gold key at checkout. Okay. So it's located in an area glaciers went through a long time ago. So there's a lot of high cliffs and like ledges and ravines. But there's a really wide range of places that you can, different kinds of like ecosystems that you can see in the park. And it's also along a section of the Ohio and Erie Canal. There's a 20 mile.
How eerie is this canal?
Oh, it's so eerie. It goes all the way to Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's pretty eerie.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, just ask Dave.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so on the towpath trail, you can walk along the path of where that canal went through, and it's kind of neat because there's a lot of the old buildings for like mills that were along the river, or you can go and climb around in an abandoned rock quarry and see like where they had the means to move the stones onto the canal boats. They have some working canal locks left where they raise or lower the boat down to a different height on the river. And you can see how that works. But there's a lot of gorgeous hike through different parts of the park. Let me see. Okay. So we've got some highlights available at the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. First up, where'd it go? This is Brandywine Falls, which is the tallest waterfall in Northeast.
Can you lay under it and drink the Brandywine?
The highest waterfall in Ohio.
Yeah. It's a 65-foot tall waterfall. It's really beautiful. During wedding season, you can't go there without running into 3 or 4 bridal parties at any given time. They all want to have their pictures taken there.
It looks like the Crystal Light commercials.
It does. So that's nice. And it's, it's kind of like other national parks where nothing is that far off the beaten track. So you pull into the parking lot and it's a 3-minute walk and you can actually see the road right behind the waterfalls there. Also, I've always loved visiting the ledges, which
that's pretty right there.
Several miles of
beautiful rock formations you got there.
Yeah, it's kind of like tiny little slot canyons or something, but it's like the entire
little
trail.
sweats.
Yes, you do. You're walking near and through these ledges and ravines, and up at the top is an overlook where you can see the Cuyahoga Valley.
That's quite pretty.
Ohio's not as ugly as I thought.
I always thought Ohio kind of sucked.
No, it's gorgeous, and it's right along the Cuyahoga River, and it's not even burning anymore. So that's good.
Bonus.
That helps.
Now it's 20% less fire.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. There's also, that's a bad picture, but there's a place called Hale Farm and Village, which is kind of like a tiny version of Greenfield Village near Detroit, or like Colonial Williamsburg. So it's a living history farm. Plus they have like
can you make
shop.
Candles?
Yep, they got candle making.
What about taffy? Is there a taffy pulling?
There's got to be taffy pulling. Glass blowing, blacksmithing, all the stuff that you want out of your living history experience.
All of those things that you can do back in the day.
And there's also a really nice, you can ride on the scenic railway.
Looks like the Hogwarts Express.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great way. It runs along the river through the park, so it's a great way to spend a day seeing the whole of the park without having to do too much walking or driving on your own. One thing that's really neat of it, you can see, the highway bridge there. The whole park is unique because it is between 2 major cities. There's cities and towns that are within the boundaries of the park. There's, things to do that aren't just out hiking, within the park area. So it's kind of interesting how it's like almost an urban
oasis
park, kind of. Yeah. So
what can you see in these cities near this park? Dan?
Cleveland's got all kinds of great stuff.
Cleveland.
Cleveland rocks.
Cleveland does rock, according to Drew Carey.
TV's Drew Carey.
I almost said Jim Carrey. They've got they got some great museums. They've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in museum.
That is on my American bucket list.
Yeah, that is a lot of fun to visit if you're a fan of the rock and roll. Right next door to there, they also have a really good science center. That's kind of like OSI, which is in southern Ohio. But
It's good for the kids.
Yeah, it's a really great hands-on science center.
Mm.
Two things that I wanted to focus on, though, that are in both Cleveland and Akron, both have really great zoos. Cleveland Zoo is huge. They've got a really great elephant exhibit where there's actually elephant pens on either side of a big major walkway. And every couple of hours, they shut down all pedestrian traffic because they take the elephants from one side to the other. So you get really close to...
I love elephants.
It's an actual elephant parade.
Yeah.
Do they hold
Are
each
they
other's
pink?
tails with their trunks?
Oh, I wish. That would just be the most...
That's so adorable when they do that.
Both of the parks also have really good wolf exhibits. Fun fact, Balto the sled dog was... I think he retired to the Cleveland area after saving the children.
Was that a cartoon?
Yeah.
Yes,
that was a cartoon.
It was also real life. And there's a statue of him at the
There's an animated wolf at the zoo.
and you can see his
Bolt
stuffed
is
body.
also from there.
You can see Balto's stuffed remains at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
Taxidermied him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The Cleveland Zoo also has a really cool separate exhibit. Is a rainforest inside a building. So they built basically like a giant greenhouse, and it's got a living rainforest ecosystem inside. They make it rain periodically throughout the day.
Like me
But
at the
do they
strip
have
club.
otters?
Well, the otter action, you want to head down to the Akron Zoo.
Otter
because
action.
Otter action.
Oh, are you ready for this otter action, Heather?
Yes.
ready for
They've
this?
got a slide that goes through the otter.
Stop it.
The slide is plexiglass, and it goes right through the middle of the water. So
That's awesome.
The
You can
otters
slide
can watch
down.
you making a fool out of yourself in their
Making
enclosure.
you
Yeah.
acting utterly ridiculous.
Oh, that's so cute.
yeah, that's the highlight of that zoo, and they've got a really good bear exhibit there too, and some.
I love otters almost
Can
as much
you
as I
punch-
love beaver.
You're always hard on the beaver, though.
Can I punch a bear in the face?
I think you have to pay extra. For it. That's
Okay,
an upcharge.
Yeah. You can't do that in the wild.
Akron's a city that's kind of recovering from economic hardship. The zoo is one of the highlights there. They also have an area around next to the river that's kind of like a live entertainment venue that they hold a lot of street festivals and stuff. Other than that, they mostly have a big children's hospital and a lot of they've got a good art museum that's got some neat stuff to see. There's some stuff, but
So stick with Cleveland is what you're saying.
yeah, or go to the Akron Zoo. The surrounding areas. Akron's improving, but
Is that where are you from, Dan?
I'm from right outside of Akron. I went to high school in Akron. That's where Goodyear tires come from.
Oh,
Hmm.
tires.
rubber-
I'm a
Rubber
Michelin
capital
man,
of the
sorry.
world.
Yeah.
Not impressed.
No,
Trying to think if there's anything else
funny.
interesting about the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. It's there's a little bit of everything there because there's ski resorts, there's
Ski.
fishing, and there's a ski mountain there. It's in Summit County, which is the highest place in Ohio. So there's some big hills. There's nothing, it's nowhere near as exciting as places with real mountains, but
Sounds right up my alley, though, as a novice.
Just
Right.
enough mountains.
or when it's 10 minutes away from your house, it's plus. So,
That's fascinating.
And if you would like to check it out,
Dan
head
would
on
love to
over.
plan your trip there.
yeah, you can find me on Facebook or contact Key to the World Travel.
key to Akron,
Leonard at keytotheworldtravel.com.
That's right.
key to the AkronMetroplex.com.
There you go. Who wants to go next?
Well, I want to take everybody out west
Yeehaw.
to Sedona, Arizona. I know that I have perhaps complained a little bit about all of the red rocks I had to hike on my 10-day Adventures by Disney, Arizona, and Utah. But my favorite...
Everyone felt so bad for you being on an Adventures by Disney.
I know. It's
Hardships, man. Hardships.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of that trip was Sedona, Arizona. I did not ever realize it was a place that I wanted to visit. And actually, in looking things up to talk about this week, I really want to go back. Sedona is located in the northern part of Arizona, not far from Flagstaff. It's about just a little bit less than 2 hours from Phoenix. So if you're flying out there, Phoenix is a good place to fly into because you can get a lot more flights into Phoenix. You can fly to Flagstaff, but with all of the airlines cutting back now, it might be a little trickier to fly.
Is that a huge major airport there in Flagstaff?
No, not at all. But Phoenix, yes, and it's about an hour and 45-minute drive north of Phoenix. And it's known for its beautiful red sandstone formations that completely surround it. And they are really, really gorgeous in that area. And they have hundreds and hundreds of hiking and biking trails. The very aptly named Red Rock State Park is in Sedona. And here's a
Do they have any red rocks there?
They have so many. So many.
They're all out.
Yes. But here's a fun fact for Disney enthusiasts. The inspiration for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is there. The Chimney Rock and Capitol Butte formations were the inspiration for the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad ride. And the best place to see them is from Airport Mesa, which I'm not sure exactly why it's called Airport Mesa, because there's no airport. It has nothing to do with an airport, but maybe, it's a raised area that's just directly across from those rock formations. And they're really, really pretty.
It's an alien airport.
It is. Yeah.
Like the Devil's Tower.
Speaking of, Sedona is also known for it's kind of a center of new age attractions. Uptown Sedona is a really cute little area. It's got just tons and tons of new age shops. You can find pretty much anything you could think of. Tarot card reading.
Can you get you a dream catcher?
Yes, dream catchers and stones. And every other shop, it seemed like they wanted to do aura readings and aura photography.
This sounds like a very goopy town, if you know what I mean.
Well, the reason for this is that many of the new age movements and religions, they believe in something called a vortex. And Sedona, yes. So a vortex is a place in nature that is supposed to be alive with energy. And Sedona is surrounded by these vortices. And I actually stopped and asked a local.
Just wanted to say vortices.
I did.
Impress everybody.
I asked somebody, we spent some time in just wandering around in uptown Sedona. And I went into one of these shops because I had to ask, what is a vortex? And I'm no kidding. This is how she explained it to me. She said it's a place where the earth's energy swirls like a tornado. And I just was trying so hard not to laugh in her face.
Mm-hmm.
But they will
Did she pull a tarot card to guide you there?
Yes, we did find, and this was fun. We found a little shop that was the Mackinac Island Fudge Company. And it's owned by the same people who run the one on Mackinac Island in Michigan. They have one in Sedona. I think that's where they spend the winter, maybe.
I can heartily endorse that fudge.
Right? It's very good. And yeah, we had a lot of fun there. It's a cute little area and it's very walkable. Tons of, in addition to these new age shops.
Is there any red dirt and rocks around?
Yes. Not far from there. Lots of fun things to do in the area. We did a pink Jeep tour, and they have a lot of these that go into the surrounding area. They go off-roading. We did one to Diamondback Gulch. I just loved the name of it. It made me think
anything that ends in Gulch.
Yes,
it sounds like an old West town.
Yeah, it does. Was there blood on the saddle?
Yes. Their most extreme one they call the Broken Arrow Tour. Have you guys seen that movie? With,
I got that once.
The John Woo movie, right?
with John Travolta and
Christian Slater. Right?
Christian Slater.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
But it goes down this area called the Road of No Return, and you 100% think the Jeep is going to flip over.
No, that makes me so nervous.
Yeah. It's in the Coconino National Forest, which I don't know how they can call this a forest. It's a desert. It's a forest of tumbleweed. Are
there cacti?
Yes, lots of them. Very cool.
Are there any vortices there?
Yes.
There's cactuses, actually.
Cactuses.
Cactamaitai.
You can see Native American cliff dwellings at the Honaki Heritage Site.
Oh.
Yes.
So they were cliff trailers as well, besides the Anasazis.
They are the ancestors of the Pueblans and the Hopi and the Anasazis. So yeah, they had some there in the Sedona. Dan was talking about slot canyons. There's another cool spot near Sedona called Antelope Canyon.
Ooh, yeah, that place is gorgeous.
It is you have to Google Antelope Canyon. The photographs are just incredible, and the summertime is one of the best times to visit because the beams of the sunlight are going directly down into the canyon, and the photographs you can get are crazy cool. You enter the canyons from the bottom because they're very deep. They're very deep canyons.
They're tight.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do that for years.
Yeah. They're accessible only if you have to go on a guided tour. You can't just go hiking around in there by yourself. But they look like it's really cool. It looks like the stone is sort of flowing like a river. It's very cool.
They're very wavy.
Yeah,
very wavy.
Those photos from there look amazing.
They're pretty cool.
One of those from there is one of the rotating backdrop screens on a Mac.
Yes.
That curved wave-looking stone.
That is very true.
I didn't think about that.
Lots of things you can do. You can do from Sedona. It's about a 4-hour drive to the Las Vegas. If you want to head there for some gambling or some shows. It's only about an hour
Or the Bunny
drive.
Ranch.
Yes.
What's that, Jeff?
Tell us.
It's where
Tell
they
us
raise
more.
bunnies.
It's a pet farm.
Yeah, it's a petting zoo. You
There's
choose
a lot of petting.
You choose which of the bunnies you want to pet.
Or have them pet.
And it's about an hour drive to Williams, Arizona. Who knows what Williams, Arizona
That's on Route
is famous
66,
for?
right?
Yes. It's a perfectly preserved stretch of Route 66. It's pretty cool, actually.
That's what Radiator Springs is based on.
Yeah, and they have the little Route 66 museum. They've got a car that looks like Doc Hudson, and it's an old gas station that somebody has turned into a little museum. It's really cute, and I love it because of all of the cheesy souvenir shops. It's just one right after the other.
I love it because my last name is everywhere.
Yes.
I was going to say, if you're looking for a license plate with your name on it on a keychain,
You can find
66.
it. Yes. On a keychain, on a license plate, on a coffee mug, just about anything. You can
Unless
find
your
it
name
there.
Jess and not
Yeah.
Jesse.
Or
Yeah,
Wyatt.
That's tricky. Out west, you should feel like you should be able to find something that says Wyatt on it.
Mhm.
You would think.
Wyatt Earp.
I was going to say,
Pretty-
you could just take a marker
pretty well
and
known
scratch
out
out
there.
Earp.
Yeah. You can do a really easy day trip to the Grand Canyon from Sedona. And this is what I want to try is they have a train that leaves from Flagstaff, and it's the Grand Canyon Railway, and it'll take
fun.
you up to
I
the
love
Grand
trains.
Canyon for a day. Yeah. And the scenery from the train that goes from Flagstaff to the south rim of the Grand Canyon is just gorgeous. Yeah. If you wanted to just drive to the Grand Canyon, it's about 2 hours from Sedona to Mather Point, which is a pretty well-known part of the Grand Canyon. We stayed when we were there. We stayed at a resort called the Enchantment Resort, which is in one of the vortices.
There it is again.
Yeah, yep. It's gorgeous. I wanted to just send my family on the rest of the tour while I stayed at the Enchantment Resort. It was so beautiful. It's set down in Boynton
It's a
Canyon.
spa type setting, right?
Yes. And you're kind of, it's very steep. The red rocks come up on all sides of this resort. So you're sort of nestled down in this canyon, and all the buildings are red. They sort of blend in, and it's a luxury resort. So they have a spa, and they have tennis courts, and all of the little casitas where the rooms are kind of set apart, but they'll come and get you in a golf cart and take you wherever you want to go. So you don't even have
who
to
wants to be walking?
Right? I will say the one terrifying thing about it was we walked out of our room one day and there was a tarantula on the side of the building. And I almost wanted to leave, but he was minding his own business. So, but they have mountain biking and tennis, and they have a beautiful pool and a whirlpool, and they have what they bill as their championship croquet pitch. We did play croquet one day, and it was like 150 degrees, and there's no shade on the croquet pitch. And
You are selling me.
Yeah. Hey,
At least it's a low impact sport.
yeah, I mostly watched while sipping the state drink of Arizona, which is the prickly pear margarita. It's delicious and it's beautiful, beautiful purple margarita.
Sold.
Yeah.
That sounds more my
actually,
speed than the blazing hot sun croquet.
Yeah, you can avoid that part pretty easily.
It's a dry heat.
My son went on a hike one night from there looking for javelinas. You know what a
What is
javelina
that?
is? It is a wild pig.
Mm.
And they roam this resort in packs at night because they are looking for prickly pears to eat. They eat the pears and they eat the cactus.
Huh.
Yeah, it's kind of
Do
cool.
they get prickly lips?
They're pretty serious. They're not aggressive, so if you come across them, they won't mess with you unless you mess with them. But
Mhm.
they have some pretty nasty looking tusks. They
Yeah.
can mess you up. I really loved the area, and especially if you're into hiking and stuff like that, it's a really great place to go.
Horseback riding.
Mm-hmm. We did a sunrise hike one morning, and we all kind of grumbled about it, but we're like, all right, let's do it. And it really was spectacular. It was beautiful watching the sun come up over the.
I have always
Red
grumbled
rocks.
anytime I've tried to do a sunrise anything, but it's always worth it. Like nobody wants to
really
wake up that
is.
early, but
Yeah.
man, sunrise is very different than sunset.
And I did enjoy too in the evenings there. There's not a ton of really, really huge cities around there, so it gets very, very dark, and you can see some pretty spectacular stargazing at night out west. And the scenery is really beautiful. They've done there's so many places where you can see where westerns have been filmed, if you're into that genre of film.
How many crystals did you come home with?
Just one.
Did you find any rune stones?
I was going to say, I think you might have some friends who would really, really love Sedona.
Probably.
Did you touch a vortex
Yeah.
or have a vortex touch you?
I mean, I think so.
Touched by the vortex.
I did not get my aura photographed,
That was a Cinemax movie.
but I could have. Yes. We did have a lot of really good food in Sedona. Some delicious nachos. We tried avocado toast for the first time.
Ugh.
It seemed like the thing to do.
I'm so annoyed with
Sedona.
avocado toast. Why does
It
everybody
was
act like
required,
that's
yeah.
a special thing? It's
It's
avocado on
guacamole.
toast. Stop it.
Yeah.
It's like we ran out of chips one time and smeared that crap on some toast, and
Yep.
we've got a delicacy.
Now it's a hipster delicacy.
Mm-mm.
Have
Get
any of you guys
some
been out
chips.
west?
Not
No.
there.
Your bucket list?
Yeah.
I bet it's on Dan's
I would like
bucket
to see
list.
all of that. I like the I like to do like a pink Jeep tour and that sort of
Mhm.
thing, and then stay at a resort. I'm not the
Yes.
I don't want to be wandering through the heat and all that, but I'll go ride a horse and come back to a nice resort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of what I liked about this is that you had that really beautiful and full amenities resort, and then you could go do the other things.
I'm not a roughing it kind of girl.
I really want to take the Grand Canyon Railway
Yeah, that sounds
trip.
cool.
That sounds really cool.
I saw the Grand Canyon as a kid, and ever since the Brady Bunch episode where they went down into the Grand Canyon to camp, I've wanted to do that, except without the camping.
You still can do that. There's a spot where we saw last summer where every day people get up really, really early in the morning and they do the hike all the way down into the Grand Canyon and then up the other side. There are runners who they're trying to break the record for how fast they can run down one side, across, up, back down, back across, and all the way back up the other side.
Why'd you gotta do it twice?
Ridiculous. Yeah.
What is wrong with people? I don't run. There is
a little town down at the bottom, and that's they stop and you can stop and get a piece of mail stamped down there. You could, if you post something every day, they send the mail up the canyon on donkeys,
on a pack mule.
Yeah. And there was a spot where you could do a mule trip, so you could ride a mule down into the canyon. We walked a little ways down it, and honestly, it's terrifying because it's not very the little trail is not very wide, and if you slip off the side,
you're dead.
You are dead. Yeah.
I'm weird about heights where I can fall off because I probably will.
Exactly.
And you're weird about falling to your death.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, I don't like seeing other people be on the edge of things either.
And
like if I'm somewhere in like a lover's leap kind of place, any of those things, and people get too close to the edge, I can't even look at them.
I was watching some of the guys that were doing the run, and like, what? You're running. You're a little bit less in control than when you're walking. What if you trip over a rock? You're dead, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Scary, but it is beautiful. It's really cool.
Well, I would like to talk about the Gatlinburg and Smoky Mountain National Park area. That is a place I grew up going at least once a year as a kid. Haven't been in a little while, and while looking up links and things to talk about today, it really makes me want to go back. Apparently, they have a beautiful national park there with hiking and mountains and all of that. I don't do that. I have driven.
That the Great Smoky Mountains?
That is the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and it is gorgeous up there. I like driving through and stop. There's even in like spring break time, there's still snow sometimes up in the highest elevation. So that's always fun for Alabama kid to go say, "Hey, look, snow!"
Look, snow.
First time Wyatt ever saw snow was like we found a little patch on the side of the road and pulled off so he could check it out. But there's Gatlinburg and then Pigeon Forge and Sevierville are the areas that lead. So if you leave Knoxville and hook a right, you go start heading up into the Smokies from there. And first you get to Sevierville, where they have the Wilderness Lodge, which is like a great, what is the Great Wolf Lodge kind of a thing with indoor water parks and all that, and log cabins and hotel accommodations, all that kind of stuff. It's like,
isn't that where the Dolly Parton statue is also?
Wilderness at the Smokies.
Wilderness
River
at
Lodge.
the Smokies. Yeah, there's like huge. It started off as one hotel, then it was two hotels, and it's cabins and timeshares, and they've now got
a huge water park.
They've got 3 water parks and another one that's being built across the street from it too. It's like kind of amazing if you're into water parks. We used to go there a couple of times a year, and just it's a great place for mom and dad to drink while Wyatt hits the wave pool.
Oh, this is cute. One of them is called the Soaky Mountain Water.
Yeah, that's the new water park, the Soaky Mountains.
That's cute.
That's was supposed to open this summer, and now everything's closed, so we'll see what happens. But that whole resort is closed right now. But if you continue on through Sevierville, next up is Pigeon Forge, and it's like one long road of just weird attractions after the next. There's a lot of outlet malls and that sort of thing, but then you have like the Mirror Museum and the Ripley's Believe It or Nots, and these
I love crazy
kinds of
kooky
things.
Little places like that.
Yep, those mirror mazes make me feel so stupid, though. I'm not good at a maze anyway, and then I'm just banging my face into a mirror and glass. I don't know why I thought I was going to walk right into myself. Like, what? Why didn't I notice my own self there? Like, how moronic. But Pigeon things to do in Pigeon Forge. There's so many of these weird dinner shows. If you're into cheese, this is the spot for you. They have the Comedy Barn Theater that's like hee haw level comedy dinner
Hee-haw.
dinner show.
I miss hee-haw.
There's so many wax museums in this area. There's the Hollywood Wax Museum, and Dolly Parton's used to be Dixie Stampede. I noticed now she's changed the name to Dolly Parton Stampede, which, though it sounds like a bunch of drag queens running down the street, it is not. It is a dinner show where they have ostrich racing and horseback, all the rodeo. It's like a rodeo style thing while you eat, and it's like medieval.
It's like medieval time.
Yeah, it is very much like medieval time, but rodeo.
Ostriches
It used to
are
be
a little terrifying, you guys.
They're crazy that these people. I mean, these are huge, full-grown men out here riding these ostriches, and they race them. And it's kind of amazing. And they have a similar themed dinner show that's a pirate show where they're swinging around on the ropes and all that stuff. It's and that is home to Dollywood Amusement Park as well.
I have always wanted to go.
When I was a kid, I would go to whatever the park used to be before Dolly bought it and turned it into something amazing.
City?
I think it was Silver Dollar City, and it was kind of a dump back then, but it's really nice now that Dolly has and her investors have taken it over, and they've got some world-class roller coasters in there, a lot of cool stuff, and then all that hokum performances and glass blowing and all the iron smithing. And
there's like a Dolly Parton museum where you can see like artifacts and a recreation of her childhood.
Her childhood home is in there. The coat of many colors or whatever her thing is there. I love Dolly, and anything she touches turns to gold. I love her. And then on up the hill from Pigeon Forge, you get into Gatlinburg, which is nestled right at the valley that leads to the entrance to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So it's like one long road of attractions and chalets and cute things that lead right into the park, and they've got more fudge than you could ever imagine. Like, it's like a fudge
like
shop,
Island.
taffy shop,
packing that fudge in.
Yeah. There's so much. Yeah, and I love saltwater taffy and watching the machine that makes those things. I was one time supposed to go to a taffy pulling contest in St. Petersburg, but I accidentally went to St. Taffysburg. But I enjoyed the Peter
What did you do when you got to there?
It was a Peter pulling contest. I won. But this is home to hillbilly golf. There's a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum.
What is hillbilly golf?
Yeah, you're going to have to back that up for those of us.
Hillbilly golf
somebody
is...
you can't just drop that.
It's putt-putt golf,
awesome.
mini golf, carpet golf, whatever you call it.
But up the side of a mountain.
Yeah, it goes up the side of the mountain. You take one of those gondola lifts, go up to it, and then you play your way down. Yeah.
And all the decorations are,
just
themed.
Total hillbilly stuff. So you knock the ball through the hillbilly's open mouth and all that, and you got a purty mouth. And there's a lot of banjo music playing.
Oh, I don't know.
The last ethnic group were allowed to be bigoted toward.
Yeah, they have a little mini incline thing that goes up to the hillbilly golf.
Yeah.
But the Ripley's seems to own the town because there's Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. There's Ripley's another dang mirror maze if you want to find ropes adventure courses and laser tag. And you can, if you're not into the hiking and all that stuff, like we went with my brother's family and they were all going hiking every day. We're like, we'll be playing golf and
we're going to go play some hillbilly golf.
All that. But there's a lot of good arts and crafts community there and horse riding and all that stuff. I love this area. It's a great Ripley's aquarium there.
Oh,
it's a smallish aquarium, but it's really kind of world-class stuff. Good thing. And then some of the worst wax museums I ever saw. There was a huge fire years ago in Gatlinburg, and a lot of the main strip was burned down. And apparently,
was a really
a couple of the wax museums moved or bought the ones that had burned down. So you're going through a wax museum, and this was like a Hollywood wax museum. It was supposed to be a scene from Frankenstein, and Dr. Frankenstein clearly was a slightly melted Alan Alda from MASH that used to be in a different. That's my favorite thing I've ever seen.
Oh, that's funny.
Deformed Hawkeye brought Frankenstein away.
Yeah. But they've got Obergatlinburg, which during the wintertime is snow covered, and they do skiing and snowboarding. They have one of those midnight tubing things with the fun lights and everything, and they blow snow up there for skiing if the weather doesn't cooperate. You can go up there and ice skate and ski, and they have like a small bear zoo and stuff up there. And they have one of those alpine slides where the little scooter goes down the tube like bobsled style. That's super fun. Anyway, that whole area, you can spend many days there, and you can spend a lot of money or you can spend very little. If you're into the outdoor stuff and all that, you can do that. And if you're into all the cheese like I am, you can do a different goofy activity every couple of hours.
It looks like there's some nice hotels around the wilderness at the Smokies, but there's also tons of cabins and things you can rent.
Main thing people like to do up there is rent a cabin or chalet, and most of those are awesome. We work with several vendors that rent those things, and a lot of them have game rooms in them, and so you can have several families or groups of friends go stay there, and you've got pool table and hot tub and ping pong, and a lot of them have video games or pinball machines in the cabins, and then you sit out on the hot tub and look out over the Smokies. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen some that have some really spectacular hot tub locations.
I love sitting in a hot tub looking at some beautiful stuff. So I would highly recommend that whole Gatlinburg Smoky Mountain Metroplex there.
I've always wanted to try out Dollywood. It looks super fun.
Mm-hmm. And it has Dolly in the name.
And it has Dolly Parton. Yeah. It's got some pretty spectacular and large roller coasters, too, at Dollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Dolly.
Roller coasters.
Spectacular.
Roller coasters.
She's known for those huge hills and climbs.
She's known for her roller coasters.
I'm sticking to the south with mine. I picked Memphis, Tennessee.
Ooh, sticking with the Tennessee.
I have never been to Memphis.
Oh, I've been twice.
To California.
It's it's well known as the home of the blues and the birthplace of rock and roll. The main draw I feel there is Graceland, which is the former home of the former king of rock and roll.
Who's
Elvis.
That?
Prince.
Oh, right.
Jinx.
Dan, do you have anything to say about that?
Sorry, I was distracted. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, nice.
We're doing a show.
You
just like our listeners.
Yeah.
He's doing the dishes just like our listeners.
These two bozos just said that Graceland is home of the king of rock and roll, Prince. And you said nothing.
Yeah, well,
that's because Elvis
it was so
sucks.
stupid, I just let it slide.
I'm a huge Elvis fan. I'm a huge fan of early rock and roll, but definitely Elvis. Graceland is pretty phenomenal for any fan of Elvis. You don't even really have to be a fan of Elvis, I don't think, to enjoy Graceland.
Oh, you know what? I lied. I said I had never been, but I went there when I was a kid before you could go inside.
Yeah, seeing Graceland is a study in new money
in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, when somebody because it is stuck in time from the way that he left it when he died, and it stinks of new money. There's a lot of
you showed us
shag
that
carpeting,
jungle room photo, and it is ugly.
The jungle room is amazing.
Wood paneling and green shag carpet.
Well, and the backyard is amazing because it's not a small backyard, but it's not really huge. The house isn't huge itself, but there are just regular old tiny houses that butt up right to the back of his backyard. So, there's tours going through all day, and you just look over and there's some dude watering his flowers in the backyard in his underwear, and there's no like privacy fences or anything like that.
He didn't have a big giant.
He didn't have a lot of land, and
no,
the house it's like a 5-bedroom house.
Yeah, and most of the museum, the exhibits are across the street. They bought most of the property across the street, so you can tour his airplanes. They've got those sort of off to the side. They've got, like basically a full museum with a lot of his clothing and artifacts and things like that, because the house itself is just basically kept empty.
Now, he lived there until he died, right?
Yeah.
I went there in about 1982, and his aunt or somebody was still living there, and you couldn't tour the inside yet.
Yeah,
so they
had tour the inside, but you can't go upstairs still. Okay. That's sacred space for the family. They don't let you go up there and see his bedroom, basically. So. And I think
because it still looks like a Jackson Pollock painting in there.
Oh no, too soon.
They're not interested in selfies in the bathroom.
Yeah. Where the king died on the throne.
They do have a little hotel there they had a hotel there that was one of the sketchiest things I've ever seen, called the Heartbreak Hotel.
Of course.
Original name. But since I've actually visited, because it's been over 10 years since I've been down there. They've added a hotel that's part of the museum and the exhibit itself called the guest house. And the photos from that look really nice. It looks a really nice place to stay. So it makes me want to kind of go back down there and give that a shot.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. One of my other favorite things about Memphis is it's known as the pork barbecue capital of the world.
Barbecue.
I love barbecue.
I love barbecue, and like my dad grew up in Texas, so growing up
Brisket.
we had Texas style barbecue all the time. But the first time I had Memphis barbecue, yeah, that was it. And it's sad because every May they have this thing called Memphis in May, and they have just basically a month-long festival. And they've got the championship barbecue contest during that. They have concerts that happen. It's a really great time to go down there. The weather's really nice.
Always great concert lineups for that.
Yeah, they music is basically their sort of raison
Next
d'etre.
summer. Maybe next summer.
Yeah, not all just the blues and stuff you expect. They have a lot of good acts from every genre.
Yeah, there's Beale Street, which is a stretch of nightclubs that you can find, any type of music you want to hear, you can usually find it.
I like to walk with my feet 10 feet off of Beale.
Yeah.
It was a long time before I knew what in the heck he was saying in that line.
I think he's high on Beale Street.
Yeah. My favorite thing on Beale Street, actually, though, is a Silky O'Sullivan's. It's a bar.
Oh, that was my nickname in high school.
It's known because it's in the evening, late in the evenings, it turns into a dueling piano bar, which I'm not really that into. Earlier in the evening,
I like my pianos one at a time.
One at a time, and not taking requests because it's all going to be Billy Joel, and I don't want to hear it. The best thing about Silky O'Sullivan's is they've got a bartender who she basically sings as she works for the evening, and she's really well known for having an amazing voice. But they have goats. They just have random goats.
Wait, what?
Hang out at the bar. They have goats that you can hang out and pet, and even allow them to drink your drink if you're so inclined.
I drink your milkshake.
Okay, let's go now.
So you can
I
stop
want to
in,
go to
see
the
some
goat
goats,
bar.
then go see some more music. It's amazing. Beale Street is a lot of fun.
I do want to go to there.
I think we all need to go and do a crawl through there. We can record it.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yes. It's work.
They've also got Sun Studio, which was the sort of the studio that launched the career of Elvis, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash,
Liberace.
You can
Prince.
still go see the studio. It's still set up exactly like they had it back then. Prince, Little Richard, Captain and Tennille.
It's the music history down there.
Captain and Tennille. I love their Sun Record sessions.
That was where Muskrat Love was.
That's right.
They've also got the Blues Hall of Fame, as well as the Stax Museum of American Soul. So basically,
I love the Stax stuff.
Early American music. That's where you want to go if you want to see a lot of history.
So it's like if Nashville didn't suck.
Yeah. So that's the thing. If you've been to Nashville and you hate how plastic it is, Memphis is kind of the antidote to that. Memphis still feels like it has a soul. It still feels like it, has something to offer besides a place for people to, make their songwriting career.
And delicious ribs. Who doesn't love some delicious ribs?
Smoked meats, pulled pork.
And they also have the National Civil Rights Museum, which I visited. And you can also, it's somber, but you can visit the motel where Martin Luther King Jr. was shot.
Yeah, I've been to that.
One,
that's a downer.
It's a downer. It's tough, but it's really interesting to see because that's another thing. They haven't touched it. The cars are still parked in the parking lot.
Really?
I don't know if they're the real cars, but they are. They are a version of the cars.
Total recreation of exactly how it looked on that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
you can't get to the balcony that he was on. You can just sort of see it from afar. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff to do down there. And I learned in a little bit of research to add into this that it's actually named after a city on the Nile in Egypt.
Yes.
Memphis?
That's correct.
Yeah. Memphis.
Who
There's
knew?
a Memphis, Egypt on the Nile.
I was not aware of that.
The Memphis in Egypt is the original.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Not as many bars with goats out there. But,
Yeah.
They got time to work.
Do they have ribs?
Yeah.
Not the kind you want to eat.
Old mummy ribs.
Yeah. Camel ribs.
Oddly enough, Cairo, Illinois is actually the original, and they transported it over
Yes.
to Egypt.
Yeah, the Egyptians stole that one.
It's not too uncommon for them to.
Oh, no. Wow.
I hate that you got there first. That's what she said. Every time.
There's a Paris in Tennessee. I have family from Paris, Tennessee.
There's a Paris, Texas.
There's a Paris,
too.
Texas, yeah.
Apparently the one over there in France was the first one, though.
Yeah, so if you can't get to Paris, France this summer because of the irritating border closures due to the virus, you can visit Paris, Tennessee.
One of the rare instances where the sequel is better than the original.
Yes. There's also Paris, Las Vegas. You
And
can
a
go to the
Manhattan,
Eiffel Tower
Kansas.
there.
It's like when you
Oh.
order Paris off Wish.com.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. The Eiffel Tower looks like it does in Soren.
There's actually a lot of really cool places to visit in the United States.
In these United
We've got
States.
some cool
Weird.
stuff you can do this summer.
And if you've got the time, you can drive to these locations.
Yes, whether you want to drive or fly. Yeah, when we were talking about maybe going back to Arizona, the mention of road trip came up, and I said, "I'll fly.
Meet
and
y'all
I'll be
there.
I'll be waiting for y'all at the resort."
Gas
Well,
is
you
super
drive.
cheap right now.
Yes, it
Well,
is crazy cheap.
in my
$1.35
house-
I just got.
In my house, my husband wanted to go on a road trip in his Tesla.
You better bring a long cord.
Yeah,
Rig that thing up for solar.
Yeah.
I'm really not interested in that. But
You will be stuck somewhere along Route 66.
yes, because you know what they probably don't have on Route 66?
Superchargers.
Superchargers. Yep. I just want to fly to Phoenix and sit at the resort.
I want to visit all of the places mentioned here
All of
today.
them, yes.
Well, what would
Even
someone do if they
Ohio.
wanted to visit these places, Dan?
Well, I'd probably head over to
www.keytotheworldtravel.com.
Sorry. No, it's sorry. That just comes 2 sentences into my script, so I panicked.
There's nothing funnier than you being put on the spot and not being able to do
Let's
it. I don't know why.
let's hear the fun script you wrote for this week. Yeah, come on. Let's hear it.
Well, we really appreciate you hanging out with us again this week and hearing how dumb I sound. If you've got a destination that you'd like to visit in the U.S. or anywhere else in the world, Key to the World Travel has a high school gymnasium full of expert travel advisors waiting to get out of playing dodgeball and help
Yes.
your dreams a reality. Visit www.keytotheworldtravel.com for a quote and help planning the trip of a lifetime. Don't forget to catch up with our friend, the Theme Park Professor, for all the latest theme park news and tips at www.themeparkprofessor.com. Word of mouth is always the best way to help grow our show. If you have a friend or two who you think would appreciate our special brand of globe-trotting jackassery, I'd really appreciate it if you could send them our way. We can't wait to hang out with you again next week for part 2 of our end of the year oral presentations. So come on back to hear all about park stuff. We'll see you real soon.
Goodbye, everybody.
Real soon.
Don't go to close.
To ask a question or share your travel story, you can reach us by smoke signal, carrier pigeon, or send an email to goldkeyadventurers@gmail.com. And make sure you follow the Gold Key Adventure Society on Facebook and Instagram. A huge thanks to our sponsor, Key to the World Travel. For all your travel planning needs, visit www.keytotheworldtravel.com for a free quote and help planning the trip of a lifetime. Tell them the Gold Key Adventurers sent you. That's www.keytotheworldtravel.com. Key to the World Travel, your key to a magical vacation. Thanks to Outer Vibe for the use of their song Hoka Hey for the intro and outro of our show. Find them on Facebook at The Outer Vibe or check out www.outervibe.com for tour dates, music, merch, and more. We'll see you next week for another meeting of the Gold Key Adventure Society. And until then, remember, life is short and the world is wide. So go have an adventure.